I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for October 27, 2021. Roll call.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
Chief. All right, so I'm looking in the crowd, and we have a number of recognitions tonight that we're very excited about. And I see some representatives of the Boy Scouts of America, Troop 51, and I wondered if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All you have to do is get started, and we will follow after you.
Oh,
You start, we'll follow.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees.
second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda that's up on the screen and in front of you, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we can move forward with the agenda. Consent items. Is there a motion to move the consent items in the record into the consent items in your agenda into the record?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Those consent items are the Board of Commissioners regular meeting minutes of September 25, the Board of Commissioners workshop meeting minutes of October 13, the Treasurer's report of the month of September, and the bills payable. Paid bills in the amount of $24,954,076, and unpaid bills in the amount of $337,287.25. All in favor of moving those into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, those are moved into the record. Okay, folks, we went through the housekeeping items as quickly as I possibly could because we have 3 recognitions tonight that that we're very excited about. And so, well, let me ask for citizens' comments on there. Are there any citizens comments on agenda items this evening? Okay, not seeing any. We are going to start with our first recognition of the evening, which is the recognition of Tina Murphy for 28 years of service as Hatfield Township's tax collector. And Tina and family, if you'd meet me over at the podium.
Yeah, I'll go.
So they all look very mildly nervous and a little uncomfortable, mostly because I told Tina earlier, and she's heard me say this many times before, that when we say thank you, many times we do it in a way that might be a little embarrassing because we bring you up here, we take photographs, we say wonderful things, and some people are a little embarrassed by that. So I'm kind of hopeful that we embarrass you greatly this evening as a barometer to show our respect, admiration, and love for you. So before I read the proclamation, I want to tell you a little bit about Tina, if you don't already know her. And my guess is that most, if not all of you, know exactly who she is. So, you have someone special not only in your township, but really in your life. She's been a part of many of our lives. When that person not only brings a smile to you when you see them, but let me tell you a story that I have an experience that I've had time and time again whenever talking about Tina. I can go anywhere in this township, and anytime I say her name, 2 things happen. First, everybody knows who I'm talking about. And second is, whoever I'm talking to, regardless of the issue, they always smile when they say her name. When I say their name or when they say her name. And I have to tell you that moment, that each time, each experience I've seen, that moment is the thing that tells me the most about her. Because it is natural, it's immediate, and she has left an impression on that person beyond just maybe the administration of taxes or something like that. She's treated them with dignity and respect, and she's done a wonderful job for our township. And I could go on and on about the years of her dedication as a public servant. I think that's self-evident. But as a person, she has been giving this community of herself for so many years that really, tonight is just one moment in time where we get to say thank you to her. There's really no way that we would be able to pay you back for all the wonderful things. Now, I've said these wonderful things, and now I want you, before I read the proclamation, I'd like you to put this in the context of something. I just described our tax collector, right? How many people have this type of relationship, admiration, and respect for their local tax collector? This is not someone who comes around, every day. This is someone who's one in a million. And we're not going to lose you as a resident, and we're never going to lose you as a friend. You're going to resign and step down as a tax collector, but you're going to be with us. You're part of our Hatfield family. And many of you know, especially the officers who are here, the retired officers who are here, we talk about being a part of the Hatfield family, and you are by far one of our most important parts of our Hatfield family. So, having said that, I'm going to read the proclamation that the board, on behalf of the entire township, is giving you this evening. It reads as follows. Whereas the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners desire to recognize Christina Murphy, and whereas Christina Murphy has been a resident of Hatfield Township since 1974, whereas Christina Murphy has been the tax collector for Hatfield Township for the past 28 years, and whereas Christina Murphy will be retiring on December 31st, 2021, and whereas Christina Murphy was not just a tax collector, she was a friend to everyone and always greeted residents with a smile and a joke. And whereas Christina Murphy will be desperately missed by all but her legacy and reputation will last for generations in Hatfield. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, in accordance with the foregoing, that the Board of Commissioners of Hatfield Township does hereby endorse this proclamation as recognition to Christina Murphy for her commitment and dedication to Hatfield Township, proclaimed and presented this 27th day of October 2021. Congratulations. Thank you very much, and it's just been an absolute joy to work with you. Congratulations.
I did not anticipate this. I thought we were gathered here this evening to recognize my past husband, my deceased husband. At any rate, I thank you very much. It's an honor to have been a part of this family all these years. I'm speechless. I am speechless. Thank you all so very much. Terry, would you like to say something, or Michael? Done. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies.
Don't take off yet.
This is bittersweet. I talked about your husband, your family, your father for years. There was a night that I guess maybe 10 years ago, Bob Rogers was doing a ride along with the police department, and we were talking about different things, and he was enjoying the long night shift, which I was not enjoying. And Mike Murphy's name came up at least a half dozen times. I know Bob has a history with Mike different than mine. I met Mike when I was in 5th grade at Oak Park School. I was lucky enough to be at Oak Park School, where we're on the border of Lansdale and Hatfield. We had both our police departments serve the school. Mr. Murphy at that time, Sergeant Murphy at that time, joined us on a camping trip. He was our watchdog, making sure the boys stayed in the boys' camp, the girls stayed in the girls' camp. Little did I know, less than 12 years later, I was going to be a Hatfield Township police officer, knowing where Sergeant Murphy was, and his reputation preceded him. He was the gentle giant, but there was always discipline. He was sort of my first work father. Mike Murphy and Ed Tarter took me under their wing. They were old enough to be my actual father at the time. So Mike means a great deal to me. Passing in 2002, I was able, as a detective, to be part of the honor guard for him at Mary Mother Redeemer Church. And it just a lot of memories. So when I was asked to speak here tonight, it was a no-brainer. I don't need any bullet points. I can, talk anybody out of everything and talk everybody into something. So, but having Mike's name on a street, everlasting. It'll join Officer Chapman, who also has a street named after him, and it couldn't be a better person. So, congratulations to the Murphy family.
All right, I guess I got to know Sergeant Murphy from a different angle. So, first of all, I would not be here tonight if it wasn't for him. Sergeant Murphy was a great guy. He was a tough, no-nonsense type of guy. I believe he might have written a book on tough love and Scared Straight. But if you owned your mistakes and situation or your situation, he was the first one there to help. Everyone knew Murphy. He was the bigger than life and was certainly a legend back when I was growing up. Sergeant Murphy started as a part-time police officer in Hatfield Township around 1957, and around 1960-61 became a full-time police officer. He was the first police officer to ever be shot in the line of duty in Hatfield. I verified that with Larry Stevens. And he was a juvenile officer for over 25 years. I met Murphy back when I was about 10 or 11. Kind of young, but so a trip to the police station to see Murphy was like a trip to the principal's office, but on steroids. He was an incredible guy. The only thing worse than that was when he showed up at your front door unannounced looking for you. That was the pits. Dealing with Murphy was like when you're building a team, you go through the storming stage and then the norming stage. Well, so that's what you kind of went through with Murphy every time that he picked you up for something. He controlled the storming stage, and the norming stage was 50-50. I left Hatfield a couple of years later, and with my share of storming and norming meetings with Sergeant Murphy, and I was sent back to Philadelphia. So a couple of months ago, I asked Tina if she remembered Mike bringing me to their house for breakfast. She did. Sergeant Murphy had picked me up that morning. I had ran away from the place in Philadelphia after about a year of being there, and Murphy had found me. They had a warrant out for me, but so, anyway, around that time, I called Schwab Road Bridge my home, and I was living there for a couple months until I was picked up. The way things should have worked was that he was supposed to take me to, and we called it Monkey Hall, all right? It's really the juvenile detention center in Montgomery County. So he was supposed to take me there. Instead, he took me to his house, fed me, dropped me off at Cowpath and Vine, right over here in Hatfield, gave me $2 and told me to get a haircut because I wanted to look good for the judge. And as I was getting out of the car, he said, meet me back here at 2, and you know I'll lose my job if you don't show up. That was pretty incredible. 2 days later, I found myself in front of a judge, along with Murphy. He had petitioned the court to allow me to stay in Hatfield and had an attorney file suit or whatever against the city of Philadelphia for negligence and abuse. I became a ward of the court of Montgomery County, and a day later, I was living in a foster home again in Hatfield. This certainly wasn't the last time that he had intervened to help me in court. He's just an incredible man. Part of all this is, you combine what they both have done over the years, they have over 60 years of service to our community. That's incredible for a family. So, thank you.
Okay, that's recognition number 1. We have 2 more to go. Recognition number 2 is of Boy Scout Troop number 51 for their 100th year anniversary of scouting. So if the scouts, leaders, moms, dads, volunteers would join me down at the podium, that would be great. Do not be distracted by the fact that it's a smaller crowd behind me. And the reason I say that is because Bob Rogers and Deb Zimmer and I were over at the 100th anniversary over at their at the troops location, and there were probably about 25 or so current scouts, and I know that they're upwards near 65 scouts. So. You know, it's school night, so maybe there's some homework, hopefully some homework being done. Is it marching? It's a marching night too? Oh, so we coordinated with a marching night. So, but let me tell you a little bit about what this means, not only just for them, but really for us. So I'd like you to put into perspective how many things you know that are 100 years old, okay? There's not much, right? What organization in particular has lasted 100 years? And I told the scouts a couple of weeks ago that they had 2 things. They had 2 favors that we had for them as far as Hatfield Township is concerned. First, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you remember either of the favors? It's okay if you don't. That's okay. It's second time you'll hear it, and this time it'll stick. The first favor is always thank Mom, Dad, the volunteers, the leaders, and all the people who put this together, because they are the unsung heroes of any organization, especially youth organizations. So you're going to remember to do that for me, right? And all the other guys did. I'm certain that they did. The second favor that I asked them is to keep doing what they're doing. And what I mean by that is, every time they do something, some kind of good deed, every time they do what's called a good daily turn, and I'll tell you in a moment what that means, they're making the world a better place. And they're making the world a better place not just for the people around them, but then the people who get that goodness share it with someone else, and they pass it on and pass it on and pass it on. And for 100 years, our Boy Scouts at this troop have been doing exactly that. And I told them that it comes, being a member of that organization, not just comes with privileges, but also obligations, and the obligation is to continue to be a part of that so that it continues, so that 100 years from now, someone may be standing in this area, we will all be a picture on a wall somewhere, but someone else will be talking about how 200 years have gone by and that this troop is still going strong. And so I asked the boys to do those 2 things. I'm confident that they did. And I'll tell you that I told a brief story about the Boy Scouts that I thought was very relevant, not just as an organization, but significant in the sense that it was only 10 years after the Boy Scouts came to the United States that this troop was organized. The story is actually called the Unknown Scout. Well, the brief story of the Unknown Scout is this. In 1907, a man named Robert Baden-Powell started the scouting movement. And in 1909, 2 years later, an American businessman, Mr. Boyce, was visiting in London and got lost in the fog, could not find his way. And a young man who was a scout showed him the way, and he wanted to give him a tip. And the young boy said, "No tip necessary, I'm a Boy Scout, that's just my daily turn." Meaning his daily good deed. Mr. Boyce was so impressed, he brought that back to the United States, incorporated the Boy Scouts of America in 1910, and just 10 short years later, this troop was began. And I have to tell you, it's amazing how a small moment, remember I started off by saying that something small gets passed on and passed on and passed on. A man gets lost in a fog, and because of that, and because of the generosity and kindness and thoughtfulness of one young boy, we have the Boy Scouts in the United States. So that's the history of the lesson that we teach the boys. And now the reality is, if they do that, then they're a part of the history. And so with that, I want to congratulate not only our scouts, but their leaders, the entire organization. I have a proclamation to read. By the way, they are 101 years old, by the way. And that is because, unfortunately, because of last year, we were not able to get together and they could not hold their celebration. But our proclamation to them reads as follows. Whereas the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners desire to recognize Boy Scout Troop 51 for celebrating its 100th year of scouting in Hatfield Township. And whereas Boy Scout Troop 51 was founded in 1920 and is in the General Nash District of the Cradle of Liberty Council. And whereas Boy Scout Troop 51 has over 65 active scouts and is a very active year-round program that features camp trips, high-adventure programs, and leadership and learning opportunities. And whereas Boy Scout Troop 51 is a scout-led group, which means that the troop belongs to the scouts. They run it. And whereas Boy Scout Troop 51 strives to achieve character development, citizenship training, and mental and personal fitness through the ideals found in the Scout Oath, such as law, their motto, and leadership development, and now therefore be it proclaimed, in accordance with the foregoing, that the Board of Commissioners of Hatfield Township does hereby endorse this proclamation as recognition of Boy Scout Troop 51's 100th anniversary of scouting for this commitment and dedication to Hatfield Township and our region, making our region a better place, proclaimed and presented this 27th day of October 2021. Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners, congratulations to all of you, and thank you very much. So sticking true with the notion that one way of really thanking someone is to mildly embarrass them. Hank has been the leader of the Boy Scout Troop 51 for 30 years? 30 years. 30 years. And so there's not many people in the world who give service to an organization, a volunteer organization like that. And so on behalf of the township, Hank, I'd like to recognize you specifically as well. Okay, we have one last recognition that we're very excited about as well. And so I'm going to ask Anu Sharma to join me. She is the reigning queen of Pennsylvania. She is Mrs. India USA Pennsylvania, and she lives right here in Hatfield. And I have to tell you, when we learned that she lives nearby, just a couple of miles away, we contacted her. We spoke to her and her husband. She's a wonderful person. She's got this fantastic personal history, and we want to celebrate her and recognize her tonight. And so if you would, why don't you meet me at the podium? Okay, so one moment. I'm about to introduce you to quite a person, okay? And in her young life, I read her bio. We've spoken. I've talked to a number of people about her, and I have to tell you, there is almost like a bucket list of accomplishments that she has already met that is unbelievable. It really is remarkable. And so when we learned that we had Mrs. India USA right here, only miles away. Like I said, there would be no way in the world that we could not bring her in and recognize her. And yet, then we really got to know her, we learned quite a bit about her as a person. And hopefully I'm not stepping on your toes by stealing some of your accomplishments and maybe things that we're going to mention, but she has definitely a never give up attitude, we know that. She is, in her family, the first woman engineer. She is now a successful data scientist in a large global pharmaceutical company. She's a STEM leader. She's an avid TED Talk speaker. That's not an easy thing to do. I have to tell you, you have to be quite a well-rounded person and experienced and have quite a number of experiences in your life to be able to articulate it and articulate it well. A successful model, a brand promoter, an accomplished painter. We joked around earlier that those of us over here, that there's under no circumstances would we ever qualify as anything even close to a painter, so we're remarkably impressed. An animal rescuer, classical dancer, and a mom of 2 beautiful daughters. And she caught COVID, obviously is fine now, but as a result of that, decided to become involved with a nonprofit charitable organization to support families that were impacted by the pandemic. And really her mission, as she described it, is the women empowerment and making a difference in the world. So I have to tell you, we talked about just a moment ago about the Boy Scouts making the world a better place and making a difference in the world. Single-handedly, Ms. Sharma is doing exactly that. And I really want to thank you for joining us this evening. I have a proclamation for you, and then we're going to allow you to talk about some of your thoughts, especially with regard to community involvement and some of the things that you've done. And so our proclamation reads as follows: whereas the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners desire to recognize Anu Sharma, whereas Anu Sharma is a resident of Hatfield Township, and she is the reigning Queen of Pennsylvania as Mrs. India USA Pennsylvania 2021. Whereas Anu Sharma is the first female engineer in her family. She is a data scientist for a large global pharmaceutical company. She has collaborated with several nonprofit charitable organizations to support families in the United States and India during the COVID pandemic. And now therefore be it proclaimed, in accordance with the foregoing, that the Board of Commissioners of Hatfield Township does hereby endorse this proclamation in recognition of Anu Sharma for her commitment and dedication to Hatfield Township, proclaimed and presented this 27th day of October 2021. Thank you for joining us tonight, and welcome and congratulations.
Wow. I'm still probably not able to believe, but I really, from the bottom of my heart, just want to say thank you to everyone present in this room, to all the commissioners, to the team, to the Hatfield Township, and everyone for showering so much love and support to me. It has been truly a very rejuvenating, self-discovering journey for me. As you can imagine, being a twin mom, where you can think of that you want to have and give the most time to your kids, because those are the growing years, the early years. They're still toddlers, 4-year-old. But then at the same time, you want to go ahead and achieve your dreams. Not long after having my twins, people started saying, well, being a woman, now you have your hands full. So maybe your life is over. You probably have to just sit back at home, take care of the kids, and that's it. And to all of them, I just have one question. Why? Why not? And that is when, I just always go by my motto. I believe that women have the power to bring a change if they get the opportunities they deserve. And that's exactly what I followed for myself. And I hope if I can inspire just one woman out there, it'll be worth it for me. There were lots of difficulties, complications, and lots of hurdles my way as well. but I tried to overcome each one of those. And by God's grace, I've also gotten lots of love and support, not just from everyone around, but being my backbone, my family, it's just been so supportive. The love of my life, my husband, Gaurav, has really been the most supportive person I can ever imagine. And also my parents, my in-laws. As you can imagine in this world, in-laws, they're actually promoting their daughter-in-law to go out there and conquer the world. And not just them. Imagine my sweet 2 little girls. I remember when I was preparing for my pageant, and that was indeed a difficult one because there were 75 contestants, all very talented, so many different rounds. And I was preparing for the Q&A round, and my girls were asking when they have just started to speak, "Mama, what's the answer of that?" "What's the answer of that?" And "Mama, please walk nicely." "Mama, you're making a mistake there." So they were really very encouraging, and at the same time, the kind of support that I have gotten from the community. At this time today, I know the beauty pageants, long gone, it has been just a beauty pageants with beauty. It has now become pageant beauty with a purpose. And today, I want to take that one step further and make it beauty with brains serving a purpose. Because I know professionally, working as a data scientist in one of the global pharma companies, I'm working on life-saving drugs. So professionally, I'm saving lives, but then at the same time, passionately, I want to improve lives. Ever since I won my title, I'm now on a mission to promote and help more deserving women, and also help them to achieve their own dreams. And with this, I also want to take the opportunity to thank everyone here and all the commissioners and the team for just giving this opportunity here, because just recognizing someone who's trying hard in their lives and also trying to inspire others with their achievements, it's phenomenal. Thank you so much, really.
Okay. That was the fun stuff. Now all the business, right?
Hold on. Some
Hold
people are
on.
leaving, the fun stuff's over.
Oh, you know what?
Why don't we ask for some comments?
There were some folks that said that they wanted to make some comments or some well wishes.
1 second.
So hold on one moment.
Tina?
Tina?
Not over yet.
It's not over yet. There were a couple people who said that they wanted to share some well wishes and some comments. See, I told you, Tina, you were not going to get away from us.
Tina, would you join us up here for just a second, please? Your family going to run out on two of your favorite residents here in Hatfield Township. I'm embarrassed. Aces all the way around, kiddo. Aces all the way around. For the record, Dan Reevy, 2299 MacArthur Drive, Hatfield, and
Scott Brown, Rebecca Drive, 2177. A cohort of this guy, can't believe it.
Tina brings everyone together in a positive sense. What can I say? Tina, on behalf of all the residents, Republican, Democrat, Independent, we truly have loved you as our tax collector for the last 28 years. I think I speak for everyone in this room. We have countless stories of your dedication, your professionalism, your spirit de corps and love for the job, and truly looking out for your constituency, if you will, and going that extra mile when somebody may or may not be on the verge of missing a payment and taking that extra step, making them get contact, or just that friendly hello at a diner or a restaurant. But on behalf of all of us,
Can I add something?
oh, please.
I just wanted to add something, Tina. Nobody's mentioned this, but as far as I could figure, on round numbers, you've actually collected over $100,000 from me. Oh, and Sandra, and that's another 100,000. So I'm estimating you've collected, my neighbor, 2 streets back, over $200,000 from 2177 Rebecca Drive. And we're still here and happy. And you've done it in a professional way, a dignified way, and as many people have said, because we all know it, a friendly way.
Thank you for your contribution.
I got a feeling there's an audit in the future, by the way, but that's a whole other issue. No, all kidding aside, Tina, you have just been exemplary in your public service to all the residents of Hatfield. And we wanted to give you a very, very small token of our appreciation. If you would mind opening that for us, please, we would appreciate it. Real
Use
deal.
that box.
No.
It's a Waterford.
Picture of Dan Reevy?
Beautiful Waterford crystal clock, and it tells time.
Can you read the inscription?
Christina Murphy, 28 years of dedicated service to Hatfield Township residents. Thank you so much, all of you. This is beautiful.
Every morning when you wake up and have your coffee, you can think of Scott and me. How about it?
Mostly.
Mostly me, please. Scott, would you like to say anything else? No? Congratulations, Tina.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone,
Thank you,
very much.
Commissioners.
Thank you.
Again,
Thank you very much.
I am speechless, but I thank you all. To tell them who you are.
Yeah, I will. My name is Vinod Bagdwal. Some people call me Vinny Bagdwal. Unfortunately, I'm a Dan Reevy's neighbor. He's a good guy. I love him. I'm the residence of 2306 MacArthur Drive, and I had the residence 2660 Tarmenson Avenue also. As an Indian American living in a community for 31 years, she probably not remember me, but she always treated me well. If I walked in to pay my taxes personally, she have the smile on her face. Or if I go in her house, in her office, she always respected me, treated me very, very nice and professional. I just want to say thank you.
You deserve it. It's not
No.
a gift. You deserve it.
No,
With
no.
respect.
She gave me the respect first. I didn't deserve it, and I give her the respect back. So that's called professionalism. It's all on you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. I
Appreciate it.
that very much.
I want to say that. I have to say that.
Anything else, Tina? It's your stage.
No, I'm very, very appreciative. I did not anticipate this. Like I said, we were here for Murphy's Way. That was the whole purpose of the visit. But I do thank you. It's nice to be appreciated and respected. And the residents of this township are just awesome. They truly are. I've enjoyed working with them. Definitely enjoyed working with this board, with the township, the administration, Aaron, the staff, everyone. You're just great people to work with, and I've enjoyed it immensely, and I will miss it. And Chief, sorry. Stay well, and thanks, folks.
Okay, now we're going to get down to the regular business. And yes, we understand that others have some commitments. We'll give a moment as you, thank you, as you step out. We're going to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is a public hearing. To hearing with regard to ordinance number 698, zoning amendment, small cell wireless facilities. Am I taking a motion to go into the hearing?
Yes, please.
All right, is there a motion to move into the public hearing with regard to ordinance number 698?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Andrus. Okay, all in favor of opening up the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are in an ordinance hearing, a public hearing, and I will hand it over to our solicitor.
Thank you. You've been talking about the requirement to pass an ordinance or an amendment to our zoning ordinance in furtherance of the Small Wireless Facilities Deployment Act. As you know, you've been discussing how we now need to adopt regulations relative to these small cells that are required in our township. So in furtherance of that, we have worked with staff and have devised an ordinance. We have sent it to the county and the township planning commissions as required. It's been advertised as required. I'm going to mark a number of exhibits and then see if there's any questions or comments on the ordinance. So B1 will be the letter and email to the reporter dated October 4, 2021. B2 is the proof of publication in the reporter. B3 is the County Planning Commission's acknowledgement of receipt of the ordinance. B4 is the County Planning Commission's review letter dated October 25, 2021. B5 is the email to the Township Planning Commission, September 28, 2021. B6 is a copy of the attested ordinance sent to the Law Library, October 4, 2021. B7 is the ordinance itself. B8 is the legal notice. And B9 will be the enacted ordinance after this evening. So the sum and substance of the ordinance is provisions that are required by the Act. That's all really I have to say about it. We'll see if anyone has any questions or comments. Okay, I see none, I hear none, so in that event, you can call for a motion to close the hearing and go back into your meeting.
All right, then I'm going to call for a motion. Is there a motion to go back, to end the public hearing and go back into our regular meeting?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. All in favor of moving back into the regular meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are back into the regular meeting. I know residents, you don't feel any different, but actually we were in a hearing. We went from a regular meeting to a hearing to back to the regular meeting. So now we can speak about the ordinance. We could have as well during the hearing, and we would we'll take a vote on that. If, however, there's any residents that want to comment on this before we vote, you're welcome to do so. Okay. Well, Ms. Solicitor, then I think it's appropriate at this time to have a motion on the ordinance, unless you tell me that there is procedurally any other step that we need to meet.
Nope, that's next.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 698 regarding the zoning amendment for the small cell wireless facilities?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus. Second by Vice President Rogers. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of ordinance number 698, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Okay, we have 3 action items in front of us, actually 2 action items in front of us because we just handled one. The second one is ordinance number 697. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 697 with regard to the pension amendment early retirement incentive?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees. Second by Vice President Rogers. I'm sorry, so we took the motion. Are there any questions or comments? And Aaron, are you going to lead us on this one?
Yes, sir. Certainly, Mr. President.
Yep.
Before I get into this, though, I think Scott and Dan should take that show on the road for the record. Regarding this ordinance, this is action that the board takes periodically. to offer certain employees an incentive to retire. It's a cost-cutting initiative that we've done several times over the years. Allows an employee that meets certain criteria to retire early and receive the pension benefits early. We don't know specifically. It has to apply to all employees. So at this point, once the board approves, then the enrollment period will begin for the employees. And there's only a few that would meet the criteria needed. So we believe there is some interest, but not entirely sure until we go through the process. So this is finalizing the ordinance, which has been advertised, and we'll amend our pension plan, similar to what we did last year and about 5 years ago now as well.
All right. Questions or comments? All right. If not, we had a motion. We're in the middle of that motion. I'll call the question. All in favor of ordinance number 697, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Last action item is a leaf pickup contract for the weeks of November 1, November 15, and November 6. Aaron, do you want to walk us through this one before I take the
Sure.
motion?
This one's pretty straightforward, Mr. President, commissioners, and the community that are here. LEAF program that Hatfield has been doing for a number of years now will begin on November 1st. The takeaways are, and something you need to be aware of, is that the biodegradable bags full of leaves should be at your curbside Monday morning. They do not have particular zones that they travel throughout the township, but each road is covered one time throughout that week. So we have 3 rounds, November 1, the 15th, and December 6th. And make sure biodegradable curb Monday of that week is the key. And we've had a pretty successful program. There's some tweaks that always need to be made as far as when and how many leaves are falling. It's not the easiest thing to anticipate. So hopefully it will be a successful program, and the price has been very competitive and similar now for many years, and Republic has been the same vendor for quite some time now. So we anticipate a successful round.
All right. Any questions or comments before I call for a motion? All right. Is there a motion to award the contract to Republic Services for $18,000?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees, second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion is approved. All right, nothing left but citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments for the folks? By the way, we really like when there's a crowd of people, so we really appreciate when everyone came out tonight. Please feel free to do so again. It's always much better when we have people. All right, seeing no citizens' comments, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus. Second by Vice President Rogers. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thanks for coming out, folks.